I wish I clicked live when you had just said that. Oh, and look at that. We are live. We just missed it by a hair.
I'll say it again.
No, that's okay. Danny was just inferring that anybody who may be on YouTube watching us live on a Friday night may not have as big of a social circle as one may need. But she said that in a more crass way.
It's only 3:00 here.
True. Not even.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? I wonder if Augustus is here. He says he's here, but he may not be here. That was a while ago. Don's here. Hi, Don. Okay, so it's been a minute. Seems like it's been impossible to fit these into our schedule lately.
I have a real reason.
Okay.
Belly. Okay, bye, Belly. I guess what she's going to do.
I don't know.
Guess.
Oh, she's going to go eat another dog's.
Belly. Mute me. Okay, crisis averted. So,
I'm back.
Saved us.
We both froze. I'm back.
Okay, well, I had to take care of something. I think the reason that we don't do these is like right now it's already 2:30 here, which is like the middle of our day, but it already feels so weird because it's already like so late everywhere else. So I'm always just like, I feel like if we can't do it by like 10 a.m., it feels weird. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, some people just watch these on their couch at home though, like at night, which we've been told by like numerous people. They like to watch these in the evening while they eat dinner. Stuff.
Night?
I think Stacy and other people have said that too. Other people have said that too.
In my brain, I'm always just like by like 3:00, I'm like, that's too late to do it, and that's like the only time that we like really can. But
yeah.
Anyways,
look at this.
Oh my
Don Neary,
gosh.
can I order a Jersey meow? You don't want to go down the Jersey road?
You all blew it.
Don, pre-order is dead. It's gone.
Yep.
We already ended pre-orders, and a lot of people missed out.
Yep.
Okay, so we're here today. We'll keep it brief, but just to talk about the 100 points test. This is our third time doing this for the Jump Ship 90, and I think the bigger topic more so is the test week that we used in the gyms and how we kind of navigated that this year, as opposed to just letting people go crazy with a 100 points test. So yeah, we did test week. Did you notice anything? How'd you feel about how it went in the gyms?
Well, the first thing I wanted to address was our initial decision to not make a class score sheet.
Yeah.
We got a lot of like feedback about that.
Do you have that on Drive somewhere? I could pull that up. I'll have to find that. You can talk about it. I'll look for it. I'll see if I can find the graphic.
It's in our texts. If you go into the files.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right, I'll try to find it. Keep going.
Well, what was I just saying? Now I don't even remember.
Your first thing was that you weren't going to do any type of score sheet for class for the reasons you were about to speak on.
Yeah. So we've done the class one another time. We did it the last time we did it, the test week or whatever.
Yes.
And we didn't do a score sheet then. We just had the regular 90 score sheet. I think, think about if you're in your affiliate. Think about I don't mean to say like the worst, but like the worst athlete, like who's just there to like just exercise and they just scale everything, like whatever. They're just there. They're just doing their best, right? But they're not good versus the best athlete in your gym. That is, at least in our gyms, is such a ginormous like buffer of people that I was just kind of like, I don't want to make this newer, less skilled athlete like get a 0 on this and then like be like, oh, I suck at CrossFit, I need to quit. Like that's not the purpose. Like that doesn't help us, right?
Yeah. Let me give some context on that. So like the way we typically would score the 100 points test, we'd have a bunch of benchmarks out there, lifts, benchmark WODs, other workouts. And if you can't do it RX, you have to modify it all. You just end up with a 0 because the workouts are reasonable for anyone who would be competitive at any level to complete RX. And so if you have to modify, which the vast majority of members in an affiliate would rightly do, it just gives you a 0. So if you had to do that across the whole week, you'd end up with like 4 points out of 100 and it would make people feel bad. So continue.
4 or 0.
Or 0. Yeah, many people get 0s.
It's like thinking about that athlete that would get a 0. It's like, what does that do like to them, right? When it doesn't actually matter, like it doesn't matter for them, right? They're just there to like be fit and probably just try to be healthy and like whatever. So initially we were like, no score sheet. I just texted it to you if you have a way to like put it on.
Oh yeah, I can open it. Cool.
We were like, no score sheet. And then we talked to some of the other like co-owners that we own gyms with, and they were like, oh, we need a score sheet, like whatever. So we kind of like were going back and forth with it. And it kind of felt like I was kind of feeling weird about it for a minute, kind of being like, you know, how do we do this? So if Seth can pull it up, we can see what we sort of came up with.
Of course, like nothing's working on my computer right now. I'll get it pulled up in a second. But yeah, so instead of
do I do present?
I don't know if it'll
slides?
let you. I don't know if it'll let you. Stand by. I almost got it here.
Okay, I can just start talking about it. Anyways, so the way we kind of came up with it, which I thought was like kind of a better idea than giving people a bunch of zeros, was calling it like a goal sheet. So sort of just like the first goal. So anybody in your affiliate, no matter how new they are, they're just striving to reach the first goal, which people are like calling it 1 point, but it's not even a point because it's not out of any sort of sport.
There we go. I can try. Yes. Duh. Where do you want me to zoom to? Oh my goodness. What am I doing?
I mean, that's fine. So you can see like goal number 1, like for just like the girl wads anyway, is just like complete it with any scale. Like a 1 rep max clean and jerk is like 135.95, which is like very attainable for some class athletes. But then, you know, that might also be like a big jump for some people. So anyways, I like the way that we kind of decided to do this. And then goal number 5, we sort of based off of like some of our top athletes who do class every day to kind of like come up with those scores. Yeah. So, and this was, I'll give you credit where credit's due. This was your idea. So we had actually bounced the idea of coming up with a 200 points test off another affiliate owner who was trying to find a way to quantify this for his members. He really wanted to do that. And there were other affiliates who were like, we'll just use the score sheet. And I'm like, don't do that. You're going to hurt a bunch of feelings. It's not going to be productive for your gym. So Danny had the idea to make it more of a goal-based thing. So it didn't really matter if you totaled up the points, which to her disappointment when she actually realized when she built this 95? Out, this 95. You had 95 if you actually try to do a point system with it. But yeah, the volume is less in the class, obviously. It was 3 tests per day, but it was 6 days in a row. Most people don't do 6 days in a row at the gym, so they do as many of the benchmarks as they can. And yeah, I mean, if you complete it at any scale, if you just show up and get the work done, like that's a good goal. If you're consistently showing up at the gym, like you should get credit for being in attendance and putting some effort out there. And then from there, the goals are, you know, just completing it RX. Doesn't matter what the time is, just getting it done. And then from there, you can actually set some real, like, tangible times that you should be working towards once you actually have a reasonable RX time to build off of. And so you don't have to quantify it as a total over a week, but you certainly can use this info moving forward to figure out what things you really need to work on, even just as an affiliate member. It's pretty clear when all your strength is either below the first goal or really low, or if your workouts are only completed with a scale, you don't have any RX workouts. There's just things you can really look at to try to improve. And I think that was the overall goal for this. The other thing too is for like all the comp extras, like goal number 1 was like not even doing it. Like, cause like most of the people in the affiliate class do not even need to be doing that extra piece. So it's kind of like the other thing too of being like, in order to do the comp extra and like get on the board, you essentially have to, like, you know, 30 bar muscle ups, you have to complete it RX, or the last one, which is the strict handstand push-ups and handstand walk, have to complete it RX. And that's kind of like also like, okay, if you can't complete these things RX, you probably or maybe don't really need to be doing the competitor extra piece, unless, you know, you're working towards specific stuff. But yeah, I thought that this like was a good guideline. I know that a lot of our class members still were like half looking at this, half looking at the regular 90 score sheet, which is fine. But then they're like, I got a 2. I'm like, right. Like, let's look at the other sheet. Like, you know, and again, we said so many times, this is like a Mac, like an 85 on this 100 points test, the jump ship 91 is like CrossFit Games level. Like, if you even think that you should be getting a 2, like, I don't even know that you should get a 2. Like, right. Maybe, you know, so it's kind of just like, you kind of have to put people in their place a little bit with the score sheet, which was like a little uncomfortable, like for our gym members looking at the 90, you know, because I'm just like, and they're like, I have to quit CrossFit. I'm like, no, like
some of them got it though. I had a message. I had a DM from one of our members. She was like, I scored a point on the row. Yes. She was like so stoked to not get a
that's
0.
awesome.
She's like, I
Yeah.
got 1 point. And she like wasn't upset about it, but she has a much better attitude than everybody else. And she was talking about like the Jump Ship 90 sheet that she had like downloaded. And she's kind of newer. It was just funny. She was so stoked to get like a max effort 500, like 1 point on it. So anyway, that was kind of cool.
If you can use it like that, then it's obviously like a tool. But if you're like, oh, I got a 7, like I have to quit CrossFit. It's like, no, you're just not a CrossFit Games. You don't need to be like using a CrossFit Games level like standard sheet. You know what I mean?
And it's a really good base. Like if you're not scoring, what do you think the minimum is? If you're not scoring 40 or 50 points, like the Jump Ship 90 probably isn't the right program for you. Like
or any competitive programming.
Yeah,
you're probably better off in class.
Right. That was my point. Following an affiliate class program. Right. Yeah. Any competitor program, if you're unable to put up a 40 or 50 on the 100-point test, you're probably better off with less volume, more intensity, and more focus on skills and movement. But that's really hard to convince people of. They just want to train, which fine, whatever.
The thing that's also interesting though about just the 100 points test, like the Jump Ship 90 version, is like there's enough. I need to like pull it up. But so like say you're just like,
do you want me to close out of this one?
I don't care. Say you're just like a big, strong, like meathead. How many points could you get? So just for strength.
For the 90 test?
Do you want me to send you this?
I have the 90 if you want me to pull that up.
Yeah, just put the men's scores up, or anyone.
Yeah, I can do that.
Scores.
I'll try to zoom in a little bit. You want the strength stuff?
That looks like shit. I have the PDF.
Okay, I don't have the PDF. I can zoom on this easier. That's why I pulled this up.
No, you don't have the PDF. That's why you pulled it up.
No, I have the PDF. No. You want the girls or the guys?
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Here's the girl stuff.
Okay, I was looking at the guys. Let me pull the girls. Okay, so say you're just like big, strong meathead, right? You could get on the strength how many 30 total points just for being like a strong dummy, like
yeah.
Or like how many points could you get if you're just like a sick like gymnast? You got the 20. And then probably like no, because you could get the 7 minutes of burpees. That's another 5.
That doesn't necessarily translate over to gymnast, but I get your point.
I don't mean gymnast like I don't mean gymnast like gymnastics athlete. I just mean like a whatever. Anyways,
yeah,
you're saying that somebody who can get a score of 40 can be following the Jump Ship program and get stuff out
I
of
said
it.
40 to 50, and I said at bare minimum,
okay,
not
fine,
like that's
fine.
The threshold.
You changed
bare
it.
Minimum.
If it's 40 to 50, then fair. But you just said 40.
That's what I said.
Because I was just thinking, if you're just super strong, then you can already just get 30 points just on the strength, and then you can probably pull off a few more points. I don't know, on a 500-meter row and whatever, and get pretty close to that 40 mark. Just by being
crazy
strong
though.
And at everything else.
The strength is no joke, though. To put together a big total and a big Oli total, like you have to be quite skilled. And if you have that level of strength and capacity with a barbell, there's a good chance that you're able to crush some of the Metcons. Like I understand conditioning, like with DT, is different, but there's a good chance that you'll score something in some of the Metcons unless you're brand new to CrossFit. That's a serious capacity in the lifts. Those lifts, the lift numbers we used were based off the total at the CrossFit Games from the men and the women from like 5 years ago, whatever, back in, about 5 years ago or so. So those numbers are legit. But anyway, what was I going to say? So one thing I thought was really, are you still there? Did I lose you? Okay.
I was just looking at the sheet.
Oh, one thing I thought was really freaking awesome is that this test, and again, I'll give you credit. You designed most of this test. I may have tweaked it when we put it out, but you actually came up with most of this test. This test is so insanely accurate of a predictor of how good you are. It's so simple and so insanely accurate. When I got scores back from a bunch of athletes, it just put them in the exact frame that I imagine each athlete being in. Like, for example, like Kat Moak, who is one of our best athletes. She's a Masters athlete. She just won the Masters Fitness Collective for 35-39. Like, she's legit female. I think she scored somewhere in the 70s. Like, but she's not in the 80s and 90s. Like, she's not going to individual semifinals, and she's certainly not going to individual CrossFit games, but she's like low 70s, which would put her as a higher level, like, females master competitor. And then we have other people who are not at Kat's level and like masters or individuals who are like in the 50s. And it's like, yeah, you would compete in quarterfinals, and that's going to be the end of your road, and you can throw down on the weekends, and it's great. You can compete at other competitions. It just puts people exactly where we'd expect them to be. It kind of blows my mind how accurate this test is.
The only two tests that I don't like, but they need to have their place, is the strict handstand push-ups and the rope climbs. I just don't like those.
Okay, those could be, I agree, those could be better. I still think they're fine tests because they build in a certain skill that are very valuable for, especially in gym.
They just kill the vibe for me.
Sure. I'll pull that up. I'll pull that up so we can debate it. People can talk about it in the comments. So you don't like the...
There's nothing, again, what you're saying, there's nothing wrong with them. I just feel like I love the way that the whole rest of the week, like, just like fits and whatever. And obviously those are the only two that like we made up. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's because like there's no simple way to test those movements with like a CrossFit style benchmark that's like also short enough to fit on top of all this other shit that we're making them do.
You would have to take out so many of these like classics that we like to have in there, like, because you could do a Tommy V for the rope climbs,
that's what I was thinking on that
but
one.
then you have to ditch Fran. Yeah, you have to ditch Fran, which is okay. We could completely rebuild this.
There's not enough of a sample size of scores like to eliminate any of the Metcons that we have. Meaning Fran, DT, Diane, Fight Gone Bad, 333, Amanda. Like, you have to keep those because we can put very accurate times of what's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 point. Like, everybody knows their exact best scores on that. Whereas, like, you don't, I mean, I don't know. You don't like really know your best set of chest to bar, your best set of toes to bar. You don't like really know.
Those are actually the tests I like the least. Are the max effort ones. The chest to bar, toe to bar. I actually like those the least out of all the other tests.
But you need those.
Just by themselves?
Again, like those, so the gymnastics and the monostructural were always the last piece of the day. Is that correct? Yes.
Mostly. Not always the last. Yeah, I guess so. I guess it is. Yes.
So like that's kind of like, again, keeping it in line with like what our program looks like, which is like the 90-minute program that keeps the whatever that makes it like look and feel the same as like a normal training day that we put out there.
I get what you're saying.
If this like, there's a million different ways we could have done this, right? We could have required people who are doing it to like take off work for the entire week and made every day like a 10-hour session. We'd probably get a much more like, accurate, but like who the heck, like no one's doing that. So anyways, I think for like keeping it in 90 minutes is cool. I love Fight Gone Bad.
Fight Gone Bad's a terrible test. Can you elaborate on that? Do you mean it's a terrible test because it's a hard workout or because it doesn't prove anything? Yeah.
Or you don't like what you get on it.
Or you don't like your score. Yeah, I'd like you to elaborate because maybe I would agree with some of the things and maybe I would disagree. It's definitely not a perfect test, that's for sure, especially with some of the varying standards that people can use. Okay, here we go. Bar is too light and riding the line gives you the best score, then adding in gaming certain minutes to save for others. Yeah, I mean, but being strategic is part of the sport, right? So I fully understand what you're saying about dogging minutes that give you less ability to cycle reps versus, especially back in the day, if you were doing rebounding box jumps, you would make sure you got the full 60 seconds there because you can get the most there and probably the push press as well. But it does it just encompasses a lot of movements that we'd want to see regularly. It's a little different. The format's different than the rest of the tests. So it's just, and it's, everyone knows what Fight Gone Bad is. Everybody's had a Fight Gone Bad experience. So it's probably not the best of these tests, but it certainly works, I think, for our purpose. It's just a matter of if we're we're held everyone to the same standard. But I get what you're saying. I do. It's not perfect. But you like it, Danny. You'd keep it.
I like the Metcons. I think it's a well-rounded. It touches everything that you generally see in CrossFit. So I do like the Metcons.
Yeah, I do too. And I think
there's other Metcons I obviously like better than those specific ones. But I think again, when we're talking about how do we put a point figure on these scores, like I need to know a bajillion people's Fran scores to know that like sub 215 is like pretty dang good. Like there's just and to know like Fran like over like many different years too, because like we talked about putting, I know we have like the 7 minutes of burpees, but we had talked about putting like other past like open wads in, but even like the ones, if they haven't been repeated a couple times, then like those scores are like really out of date even just like 2 years ago. So it's like that's why those don't fit and don't work.
There are a couple open wads too that have sort of been maxed out, I think. Like, well, I won't get into that, but yeah, there's some open wads that wouldn't really work, I don't think, in this sort of thing. But again, to follow back about what Mason said about the bar being too light, one of the things about this is the bar is 75, 55. I think that's why we chose it, because then you have Fran at 95, then you have Amanda at 135, then you have DT at 155, then you have Diane at 225. So we have varying barbell weights across all these movements just to give, again, different feels across the test. Again, it's not perfect. It's really hard, really freaking hard to come up with a week worth of tests that fit in 90-minute windows across 5 days and give you a fairly accurate score. And I've like daydreamed about other ways we could do these tests and other tests I'd like to do in other formats that are a little more different and interesting, but I don't know if they'd be as accurate.
I really like, even though it's not, again, super accurate, the 400-meter run into the mile run. I don't know why. I just think that's like, just kind of screws up your mile a little bit. It's kind of funny.
Do you like that it's 2 scores?
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying.
Very valuable.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because also that 400-meter into mile thing is something that like they would do at like the CrossFit Games, or you'd see that at like a competition. Like that'd be like a very, like you'd see that at any competition. I think I think that's kind of cool.
Do you think that the point distribution is as accurate as it could be, with strength being where 30, gymnastics 20, Metcon 30, and then monostructural 20? Do you think that, because that sort of does give a slight strength bias, maybe over a conditioning bias? Because like we'd said earlier, if you are like as you call them, a strong dummy, and you can get somewhere between 25 and 30 points, there's a good chance you can crush the heavier Metcons as well. Whereas if you're like a Metcon machine, there's not necessarily a good chance you're going to crush a row, maybe a run. Maybe you're not a super fast 400-meter run person. Maybe you're not strong on the bike because you're too small. So maybe being...
No, I don't... Hold on. If you're a strong dummy, which Metcon, if you're just a strong dummy, what Metcon are you going to crush? Probably DT, and that's probably it.
Yeah, if you can't do handstand push-ups, yeah.
But like you're like Fran, you're going to just be like, just crushed.
Yeah.
DT fine. Diane, like a sub 215 Diane's like no joke. Like,
oh no.
I think my best Diane is like 205 or something. And like I was kind of a strong dummy, but I was also like somewhat fit. So like if you're just really strong, you're not going sub 215 on Diane.
You have a good, I think I guess.
What is she doing?
Who knows? Strong dummy is just tough to guess, because like, are they a strong dummy with basic CrossFit skills? Like, can they do Amanda? Because Amanda would absolutely crush me, even though I have good muscle ups, because the 135 barbell would beat me into the ground. Whereas a strong dummy just gets to the snatches and then chips away at the muscle ups and maybe scores a point.
Yeah, but strong dummy is taking a 0 or a 1 on the 333.
True.
So anyways, what I'm getting at, no, I don't think that this is too biased of a strength and Metcon thing. The strength and Metcon tests are stronger tests from like what we're putting out. Like I guess I'm saying like we have more accurate information of to what those correct points should be. So I think that's why there needs to be more of a weight on those. The other ones are, and if you're talking CrossFit, that's what you're doing every day, like in your CrossFit affiliate, is like one of those lifts and the strength and like a Metcon that like looks like that. That's like what CrossFit is. The gymnastics and the monostructure, I think, is more of like the extra.
Yeah. Mason Mitchell, thanks. Once you're under 220 220-ish Fran or Diane, it's maxed out. Your shorting, range of motion setup is the difference. Do you agree? Is under 220 basically I would call it the upper utility of being able to do a fast Fran or Diane?
No, I think at this point it's a sub 2 Fran. That's I think the golden rule.
Okay, but so if we're scoring somebody on abilities, like if you have a 6'1" dude, he's not going to ever do a sub 2 Fran, right? But if we get Puna in really good shape, Puna has, and you've done it before too, but like shorter athletes with fast squats have the ability to do a sub 2 Fran. Does that carry over to more
Puna
value?
Didn't do a sub 2 Fran.
No, I said if you got him in really good shape, he's built to be someone
Seth
who
says
could
you're
do
not
it.
in shape.
No, he's not in shape. I beat him in Metcons all the time, and I'm an old like boob. So no, he's not in shape.
Hold on. Look what Mason said. He wrote unbroken Karen. It's maxed. Wrong. My broken Karen is faster than my unbroken Karen. Tested 2 times.
Explain.
I don't know. It's just like maybe my
I don't know. You need to explain that.
Either my squat is faster when I'm breaking and able to take a break. It was 20 seconds. I don't remember the exact time I could pull up. It is not for me anyway. It is not faster to go unbroken.
So I do think there is some nuance to what you're saying there, because somebody like you,
same with Grace,
can manipulate your squat speed in a crazy way. You have some of the fastest squats ever or slow squats ever.
I've done Karen, Grace, and Isabel all unbroken, and my times are faster breaking them. All 3. But because people are like, oh, once you do, Isabel unbroken or whatever, you never have to do it again. And I'm like, no, I broke it and went faster.
I think there are ceilings, though. I do think he's not wrong about there being like useful ceilings. Like, I'm not saying that you can't carve a second or two by being strategic in some way, shape, and form, like at the highest level, but there are useful ceilings to these scores, and that's why we max them out. Like Fran, for example, for guys, sub 215 is maxed out. You could argue it's 220 if you want, fine, whatever. But if you do a 155 or a 214, you're getting 5 points. And I think if you're looking to see how able somebody is or how useful they may be as a team athlete for you, anything under 215 is all I need to know. You can do a 214, Fran, great, you're good there. I think that's kind of the point of it.
215 too is like also, like you said, like there's a lot of things that come into play there, mainly size of the athlete. So
yeah, he had said that too. Yeah.
So that obviously, sub 2 is not real for someone over 5'10". Like whatever the height is, I don't know, but for sure, like there's definitely a line. I think that's where like the times that we have in there kind of come from. Like you're right. There's no sense in taking 1 second off your Fran. Like don't train for that.
Right, and that's why I just call it maximum utility, and that's going back to the strength. Like look at the women's strength or the men's strength, doesn't matter. Like we cap the score on the squat at 4 points. You can't even score a 5 in the squat, because over 435 for guys, it doesn't really matter if you squat 450 or 550. You're already at the top tier of strength for guys. Like same with the deadlift over 500. There's a lot of guys who can pull over that, but you're not gaining a ton of extra value by pulling another 50 pounds. It doesn't really translate over to a much bigger score unless for some reason they had tested a singular slow style lift in a qualifier, which we haven't seen in forever. We had like a 4 max front squat years ago in quarterfinals, and that's it. But the total you can get, if you're well-rounded enough in your strength, the total you can get 5 points. And above the 1150 in a total, again, you're running out of utility. Like we just had Max Bernal, that dude that follows the strong dude. He posted like I want to say it was close to 1250, but he's only going to be able to use the extra 100 pounds across that about the same way that someone's going to use the 1150. It's not going to translate over to that much more ability as a CrossFitter, in my opinion.
I think the other thing too is like if you're using this in the way that you should, not that you probably don't know already, but this is used to really identify your weaknesses across like a very a clear test. But like obviously if you're strong, you're strong. If you're not, you're not. But I think it just kind of shows how unbalanced you might be if you're taking all 5s on the Metcons and all 1s on the strengths. Like,
well, that wouldn't happen.
Maybe there is a reason.
The other way around could happen, but that wouldn't happen. Yeah.
But maybe there's a reason to change up, change your focus a little bit or whatever.
100%. Kat wants a strong dummies shirt. Apparently, you've coined a new phrase.
Pre-order only.
Pre-order only. It'll be available for 7 minutes. Link in bio.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the 100 points test? Happy with it? Would you make changes next year?
No.
What about to the score sheet? The score sheet needs to move, I think, based on like up to date lifts and things like that.
Can move. I think we spent so much time coming up with these tests, and not only just because we spent so much time, but I think we like tried really hard to make it really balanced. Number one. Number two, now we have all these people who have done this, 2 or 3. How many times? 2 or 3 times? I don't even know.
3 times. 3.
Yeah. So I think the class tests changed a couple times this go around. I think they're better than what they were the last time. I don't completely remember, but I think so it's like, you've had these people do this. They now have their scores. I think it's fine for us to adjust the score sheet, which also shows that these people who have done it in the past should be getting fitter, stronger, whatever. But yeah, at this point, I feel like I'm mostly happy with it. And I think it does a disservice to our longer term clients to go change all the tests.
Would you even tweak some of the gymnastic stuff? Maybe? Or are you just happy with it in general? Because I tweaked it this time. I added a couple reps here and there because just capacity has gotten bigger.
Yeah, just the handstand push-ups and the rope climbs, right?
Yep, exactly. The handstand push-ups and the rope climbs, because people just got so much better at those as an opening part of the test.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, that would be the only thing I'd be open to. So what does it go to 30 and 8 or something like that? Or I don't know, 28 and 8?
I don't even know if it has to move again next year. I'm just saying like which areas you'd move. But you like the benchmarks.
That would be the only thing that I would move. And like you said, like if you take one thing out, it's so hard to honestly find a replacement for it because we've already hit like, again, I don't want to say it's like we've like perfected it, but like you can't like remove something and tell me what fits there. Like it doesn't. Yeah,
this was an incredible puzzle to try to build and cover as many things as we could and balance out the days and everything else. It was definitely the hardest programming week we've ever had to do because there's just no room for leaving stuff out. And then again, it was worth it because all the times we've gotten results, it puts people right in the box they deserve to be in, for better or for worse. Is that Buka?
Yes, Belly is an idiot. She's down there barking because she doesn't know the gate's open over here. So she's just staring at me barking.
She thinks she's trapped.
She thinks she's trapped.
So last thing I'll say, who's going to win the fight tonight I know you're going to watch?
I don't know.
You seem excited about it.
I don't have a clue. Yeah, because my friend's making nachos. I don't care about the fight.
All right, people in the comments, who's going to win the fight tonight? Everyone's very excited about this.
I've never watched a fight before.
I thought you wanted Mike Tyson to win.
Well, I just hate that other guy. But like, I don't know anything about fighting. Like, I don't know. I've never watched a fight.
Don, is that who you think is going to win, or is that who you want to win? Because I feel like there might be.
I saw that he got his toe stepped on, and that's why he like whacked him in the face.
I didn't see that. I saw.
Yeah, the other guy. What's the other guy's name?
Jake Paul.
He stepped on Mike Tyson's toe, and Mike Tyson said, "Yeah, I have like really sensitive feet, so I got angry or something like that."
Really?
I swear. Yeah, I hate that other guy.
Everybody wants him to win. Yeah, I want him to win too. I'm such a skeptic. I feel like it's just maybe it's not all the way fake, but fake enough that it's like set up for Jake to keep winning these fights. Yeah, everyone wants Tyson. Tyson, hopefully. Tyson easy. Yeah, I mean, I hope you guys are right. I love Mike Tyson. I've been a fan forever. I absolutely love Mike Tyson. So I hope he wins. But
what time is this at?
Shoot. I think it'll go on about 6 p.m. our time. So I think it might even be on soon, like on now.
Oh yeah, 11 p.m. Eastern.
There's undercard fights. Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of other fights going on. I feel like Tyson's going to get gassed. Speaking of conditioning, I feel like he's just going to be tired after a few rounds. He's like a 60-year-old guy. I don't know if he's going to be able to just keep throwing punches for the 16 minutes that it is. I don't know. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about? We hit our 35 minutes for today. We'll definitely do one next week. Thank you guys for jumping on last second with us today. I have all kinds of plans for the shows, but man, our schedule has just been absolutely crazy lately, but we will get them in. Okay. Thanks for hanging, guys.
Okay, bye.
Bye.